Picture a nation so small you could cross it in just a few hours, yet so influential that millions worldwide dream of calling it home. It's a place where, honestly, bicycles outnumber cars, where canals replace boulevards, and where social tolerance reaches levels that, well, can truly shock first-time visitors. But here's what the glossy travel guides won't tell you. Behind the picturesque windmills and tulip fields lies a complex reality of soaring costs, unpredictable weather, and cultural adjustments that, frankly, catch newcomers completely off guard. What you're about to discover goes far beyond the tourist experience. This is the unvarnished truth about actually living here, working here, and raising families here. This nation ranks among Europe's most popular destinations. People worldwide dream of living here or spending holidays in this small but fascinating country. Despite covering only about 41,000 square kilometers, roughly equivalent to a single Turkish province, nearly 18 million people call it home, which is, interestingly enough, approximately matching Istanbul's population. The capital, Amsterdam, stands as one of the world's most iconic cities, instantly coming to mind whenever the country is mentioned. For visitors, no trip feels complete without experiencing Amsterdam. Geographically, the North Sea borders it to the north and west, Belgium to the south, and Germany to the east. Thanks to Europe's seamless train network, residents often cross into Belgium or Germany with ease. You can enjoy breakfast in Amsterdam and dinner in Brussels the very same day. Culturally, the Dutch are known for being open-minded and relaxed. First-time visitors often hear the country described as the land of freedom. Indeed, from freedom of expression to same-sex marriage, Dutch society embraces remarkable tolerance levels. Just don't be surprised if what you find in a coffee shop isn't quite the same as an ordinary cafe elsewhere. One practical note: outside Amsterdam, credit cards aren't as widely accepted as you might expect. Carrying some cash is often necessary. And while the Dutch value comfort, they're also remarkably disciplined and well-educated. Ask anyone who's visited, and you'll find very few ever regret their time here. Safe, high in quality of life, and rich in fresh air, though the weather can be gloomy. It's a country that leaves lasting impressions. Now let's take a closer look at life here, exploring both positives and drawbacks, so you can decide for yourself whether it's a place you'd want to call home. One of the strongest aspects of Dutch life is job security. This nation enjoys a stable economy, and workers rarely live with fear of sudden layoffs. If you perform your job well, you're unlikely to find yourself unemployed overnight. People make long-term plans with confidence. Whether buying cars, furnishing homes, or simply managing everyday expenses without constant worry about financial instability. Whether you work in an office or collect recycling, you'll never go hungry here. Another advantage is location. For anyone with family abroad, this nation proves far more convenient than distant destinations like the US or UK. Flights are shorter, tickets cheaper, and loved ones never too far away. While someone in America might spend 12 hours just reaching their destination, from Amsterdam it takes only 2 or 3. Plus, as a resident here, you can freely travel across Europe without visa hassles. Security is another reason this nation stands out compared to countries like the United States, where crime rates can be higher. This is considered one of Europe's safest nations. Population also plays a role in shaping life here. For those coming from crowded cities, the calmer pace of Dutch towns can shock, but fewer people means less congestion, more order, and a more peaceful lifestyle. Families often have just 1 or 2 children, allowing parents to provide better education and opportunities, while the government faces fewer problems with traffic, unemployment, or crime. The balance of power between employers and employees is quite different. Here it's often the employer who needs the worker, not the other way around. Standard working hours are capped at 40 per week, and overtime must be fairly compensated. Job options are broad too. If you train in one profession but later decide to change fields, opportunities are available. People aren't forced to accept jobs they dislike just to survive. The labor system also includes generous benefits. For example, if a company sponsors your move here, the government applies what's known as the 30% rule, meaning 30% of your income is tax-free. This makes a significant difference for foreign workers. On top of that, every full-time employee enjoys a minimum of 28 paid vacation days yearly. Another important point, people here have strong purchasing power when it comes to basic necessities, especially meat and dairy products. No matter what kind of job you do, you can buy groceries from any supermarket without chasing after the cheapest brands. And here's something that might surprise you. Even simple things like tomatoes, cucumbers, or milk taste different, often fresher and richer than what you may be used to. Research has actually confirmed that produce here has higher nutritional value compared to many other countries. Think about it. A country about the size of a single province manages to export food to the whole world. With advanced technology and efficient farming, they produce crops that taste truly exceptional. It may sound like a small detail, but when you can afford high-quality, flavorful food and actually enjoy it every day, it makes you feel genuinely happy. Access to good food doesn't just fill your stomach, it lifts your mood and makes daily life feel more satisfying. Another thing that makes this place special is urban planning. Residential areas aren't randomly thrown together. If you have kids and want to take them to the park or simply want to walk in nature, you don't need to travel far. Almost every neighborhood has its own green space or park right nearby. Unlike many other places, people don't all crowd into one small park in the city center. You don't have to wait in line for your child to use a swing, and you don't get stuck in crowds just to enjoy fresh air. Parks are everywhere, and you can usually reach them on foot within minutes. This shows how much the Dutch respect nature. Houses are neatly arranged, and you rarely see chaotic layouts, sharp corners, or overly narrow streets between buildings. The architecture is another highlight. Not only are buildings charming, but they're also carefully planned, giving every corner a picture-perfect quality. Speaking of order, this nation has one of the world's most extensive cycling networks. No matter which city you live in, there are dedicated bike lanes everywhere, and people use bicycles even more than you might imagine. Now, you might be wondering about the language barrier. The official language is Dutch, not English. But here's the thing, unlike in Germany, where German is eventually essential, or in France, where French is a must, here you can get by perfectly well with English. Whether you're looking for work, making friends, or just living daily life, good English is more than enough. From police officers to barbers, nearly everyone speaks it fluently. But what about the downsides? Well, the weather is one of them. While the air is fresh and clean, it rains a lot. Sometimes even in summer, skies are often cloudy, and this can make it hard to plan outdoor activities. Even sunny days can quickly turn rainy, catching everyone off guard. Because of this, streets often aren't very crowded. People prefer staying home, always keeping in mind that it might rain at any moment. Another issue is finding skilled tradespeople. Whether you need help with furniture delivery, fixing a leaky roof, or repairing a broken fence, it can be surprisingly difficult to find a good craftsman. Many people end up watching YouTube tutorials and trying to fix things themselves. Transportation is another challenge, especially if you work night shifts. If you finish work late at night, say around 10 or 11 p.m., public transport might not be available, particularly outside Amsterdam in smaller towns. And even when it's running, transportation isn't cheap. A simple bus or tram ride can cost 4 to 5 euros, which is why many people find bicycles a much more affordable alternative. And while we've mentioned the abundance of green spaces, this also comes with a downside. Insects, flies, spiders, and other small creatures are everywhere. Local governments don't remove them because Dutch society sees them as part of the natural ecosystem. So if you live here, you'll need to get used to sharing your environment with them. Then there's the cultural side. For example, you might rent a house with a nice garden only to discover that your neighbors are hosting a cannabis party next door. It's also very common to have LGBTQ couples living nearby. The question is, if you're moving here with your family, can you tolerate this environment? That's something to think about before relocating. On top of that, housing costs have risen dramatically in recent years. As of 2025, rents in cities like Amsterdam can range from 1,300 to over 1,900 euros for a modest two-bedroom apartment. Utilities like electricity and gas are also costly, with families paying around 175 to 450 euros monthly, plus another 150 to 200 euros for water and internet, depending on your package and usage. Healthcare requires mandatory insurance, which costs about €120 monthly per person. When you add up all the expenses, rent, utilities, groceries, transport, and occasional meals out, a family of two can easily spend more than €2,500 monthly. The minimum wage is just under €2,500 gross. Of course, that doesn't mean life is impossible here. It just means living comfortably without cutting corners requires careful budgeting. As a US citizen, you can enter without a visa for visits up to 90 days as long as you meet standard entry requirements. You must have a passport valid for at least 3 months beyond your planned departure date. Border officials may request a passport with 2 blank pages and proof of financial means during your stay, which can be shown through personal funds or sponsorship. If you plan to work, you'll need a residence permit. For travelers coming from another EU or EEA country or from Switzerland, the entry process is more straightforward. You only need a valid passport or national ID and may stay up to 3 months without additional permissions. If you wish to stay longer for reasons such as work, study, or joining family, you'll typically need to register your address and demonstrate that you're employed, studying, or have sufficient funds. So what's the verdict? This nation offers genuine advantages: job security, excellent food quality, extensive green spaces, cycling, infrastructure, and English language accessibility. But it also presents real challenges: expensive housing, unpredictable weather, limited late-night transport, cultural adjustments, and high cost of living relative to minimum wage. For those seeking safety, order, and work-life balance, this could be ideal. For those expecting constant sunshine, cheap living, or culturally conservative environments, disappointment awaits. The key is understanding exactly what you're getting into, both the freedoms and the frustrations, both the opportunities and the obstacles. This small nation punches above its weight in many areas, but living here successfully requires realistic expectations and careful financial planning.